I should use this? Okay. To on it. Thank you. Good afternoon, my very dear brothers. I just noticed that there is no woman here. No, I mean, you are in-house, you work for, I'm talking about the distinguished columnist, the lady we have who writes fantastically, Bimbo Adelaku, is not in Nigeria. So I welcome you all. This session is meant for the opinion holders of our society and people who have large followership. So without much ado, because many have had to travel from outside Lagos, I will go straight to what I've described here as the State of the Nation address by Dele Momodu. My very dear friends and colleagues, please permit me to express my profound appreciation to you all for finding time out of your very tight schedules to honor my invitation at such notice. Now, I am deeply and truly humbled. Let me go straight to the main reason we are gathered here today. It will be an understatement to say our country, Nigeria, has been in perpetual crisis for decades. And this could readily be attributed to lack of selfless, reasonable, visionary leadership. Our hopes have been dashed endlessly after every election cycle and ritual. I was tired of complaining and lamenting like we all do wherever two or more Nigerians are gathered. And so I decided in 2011 to run the presidential race, but I failed. I learned a lot of didactic lessons from it. One of which was that I needed a national platform to activate and actualize such a monumental project, the principal reason I am in PDP today. My dear colleagues, I believe we all know the problems confronting Nigeria. We all probably know the solutions as well. What is strange and mysterious is why the positive change we all crave has remained nebulously elusive. I shall endeavor to answer many of the most frequently asked questions in this address. What mileage does a Dele Momodu candidacy bring to the table? My answer is simple and straightforward. We often hear of tested politicians, men and women of timber and caliber, but they have been largely ineffective, retrogressive, and reprehensible. That is the bane of our present society and societal development. Most of the aspirants for presidency today can be encapsulated in that phrase, tested politicians. My view is that sadly, whilst our politicians may be tested and experienced, sorry, it jumped. While they may be tested and experienced, most of the aspirants have failed us. Indeed, the majority of Nigerians are saying they want fresh faces with fresh ideas and refreshing ideals. But you must first open your mind. These phones, I'm not able to block. I've tried to block them, but WhatsApp is not able to block incoming calls. Could I have the paper version, please? This thing keeps intruding here. Thank you. Good. Majority of Nigerians are saying they want fresh faces with fresh ideas and refreshing ideals. That is where my candidacy is different and novel. And that needed to fulfill captains of industry, business icons, traditional and religious leaders, men and women of the armed forces, social crusaders, political chieftains, rebel leaders, philanthropists, and so many others in Nigeria and overseas. There is no part of Nigeria I have not made friends across ethnic, social, political, and religious divides. Ladies and gentlemen, more importantly, I've touched lives of young Nigerians in all parts of Nigeria by directly or indirectly providing them jobs or self-employment opportunities. Notably, in the last few years, I've received over 66,000 applications for palliative support from every part of Nigeria, which I will demonstrate to you, with the largest of about 8,000 coming from Borno State alone, closely followed by Bauchi State. I was able to disburse cash transfers strictly through their bank accounts to thousands of applicants without any form of discrimination. Since 2007, I've created new millionaire entrepreneurs every December during the Ovation Red Carol concert. Before then, until date, I've promoted and supported new talents in music, fashion, comedy, choreography, events planning, decor, food and beverage, DJing, graphics, stage management, sound engineering, printing, lighting, social media and blogging, news reporting, photography and videography, hospitality, textiles and fabrics, carpets, flowers, car hire service, security, and others. I doubt if any of the aspirants would have had such direct impact on our youth, not even those who have been in power almost forever. As an entrepreneur and businessman with an international outlook, I know what it takes to select, employ, and appoint personnel strictly on merit. Nigeria can no longer afford to do things based on primordial sentiments of ethnicity and religion. Whilst we must always take our diversity into account, it must not be a primary or even secondary consideration. I will be a positive role model for other political leaders in principle and in action. I will downgrade the extravagant and outlandish lifestyles of our leaders who live like every day is Christmas. Clearly, the next Nigerian president must be the chief executive officer of the nation and behave as such. He must have the capacity to naturally attract love and command respect at home, abroad. He must radiate confidence, intelligence, brilliance, level-headedness, clear vision, discipline, and business acumen, and be cosmopolitan in nature. Nigeria urgently requires a measured and moderate leader. It must not be tempestuous, arrogant, intolerant, vindictive, condescending, outdated. The world is fast moving away from career politicians to technocrats in politics. Our party PDP must seize this opportunity to correct the mistakes of the past. We must demonstrate to our people that we are ready to offer a new vista of hope to our countrymen and women on the 30th anniversary of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. We cannot continue to recycle the same politicians as if Nigeria has made no progress whatsoever in the last 3 decades. We must not belittle the remarkable achievements of those who have not been in political offices, but have been major players and determinants on the world stage, not arguable local champions that we presently have. We must resist and reject the notion and temptation of suggesting that power is the exclusive preserve of a group or class of people who have hijacked our common patrimony to their personal use. The time has come to challenge and change the unproductive, retrogressive, and reprehensible status quo. We must urgently retire our leaders of yesterday and yesteryears and substitute them with our fresh and innovative leaders of today in order to assure our citizens that our collective tomorrow will be much better than we want to. I'm proud to say I've taken time to plan and prepare for this journey, and I'm very ready to lead our nation out of the doldrums. I'll be a ready president and commander-in-chief from day one. People ask what specific policies and programs will I implement if elected to diversify the nation's revenue base beyond oil. First, I must emphasize that in the immediate future, we cannot seek to eliminate our dependence on oil as a major component of our national wealth. As we seek to reduce our dependence on income from crude oil, we must still embark on a wholesale surgical operation of the industry. One of the priorities of our government will therefore be to make the oil sector more vibrant by eliminating the massive corruption and theft in the sector, building enhanced and efficient capacity and infrastructure, and re-energizing the sector through technology and innovation. Deceit and fraud in subsidy claims will end by the policy of subsidy being discarded. Nigerians have paid for this scam for far too long. Every commodity in the world has a price, but we have never known our own price because of the abracadabra of the magicians controlling the sector. The recourse to importation will not be a matter of necessity, but one of last resort, as local production will be ramped up to cater for our consumption and that of our neighbors. Pricing will be properly done to ensure the benefits of our being blessed with this natural resource is felt by all Nigerians, and it is not a cost or a cross for us to bear. The entire subsidy regime fully and forensically investigated by our experts in the area, and any unlawful or shady dealings will be exposed and the culprits fished out and handed over to the relevant agencies to prosecute. It is scandalous that Nigeria continues to run at a loss in most of our petroleum departments. No diversification of our economy can work if we do not keep our main cash cow very healthy. We shall need to make huge investments, even in that sector, as part of the diversification process. We must increase our productivity in the gas sector. We have lost so much time and too much revenue by wasting the limitless gains of our humongous gas deposits through gas flaring. Even now that we have recognized the significant and huge benefits of gas, we are yet to develop this as we should. Had we done the proper thing, we will by now be one of the countries reaping the benefits of the Russia-Ukraine war. But instead, we are like the unwilling spectator being forced to imagine what might have been. We must never be in this same position again. We will crack whatever obstacles are on the path of harnessing our unlimited natural resources, and additionally explore the opportunities and the potential of our extraordinary bitumen deposits. No country wastes the amount of fortune buried beneath our soils like we do. I'm not unaware of the encumbrances of bureaucracy in our country. So I will be a hands-on leader who will personally lead the war against the sluggishness in our civil service. Our leader must make the sacrifice and be ready to face the consequences and repercussions. Simultaneously, with rejuvenating and reforming the development and exploitation of our oil and abundant mineral resources, we will revamp the agricultural and industrial sector by emphasizing the use of innovative and collaborative methods in order to exponentially increase production and output. All that is required is the proper education and a change of mindset and will. Mechanized farming must go hand in hand with food preservation, processing, and marketing. This will definitely generate mass employment. No nation can grow without true and sustainable investment in infrastructure, especially power. Any meaningful industrial and technological revolution can only happen when there is increased and uninterrupted power supply. Given the amount so far invested, it is easy to give up and say any venture to that area is due to fail again because Nigeria is jinxed. I do not see it like that. I've already been indirectly educated by a major shakeup of power supply in Ghana. I know what must be done. Monopolies and cartels will have to be broken up, but the window of opportunities that will be available because of increased power supply will be so tremendous that serious entrepreneurs and businessmen will immediately embrace the new possibility. Ladies and gentlemen, we must be prepared to spend and, if need be, borrow wisely to achieve our goals. There is no merit in saving for the rainy day when you are presently being beaten by a deluge of poverty. There is no wealthy nation today that is not in great debt. The United States of America is a good example, but we can all see how their huge debts have impacted on their nation. That is a concept that we are yet to truly tap into. It is why our population is like an albatross and weakest link when it should be our strongest and biggest resource and strength. The institutions which make for security, credibility, and integrity of debt as an instrument of wealth will need to be strengthened. The cost of borrowing must be greatly reduced if people are realistically expected to repay and fulfill their obligations. When this is done, we will have zero tolerance for recalcitrant debtors who refuse to pay their debts and endanger our entire collective economic and financial existence. People have asked me, how will my journalism background and business experience garnered over the years help me preside over the affairs of the nation if elected? You must remember that many of our nationalists and founding fathers had journalism backgrounds. Apart from knowledge and information, journalism affords me the opportunity to have global contacts and attract global respect and attention. The media will be a major tool for rebranding the battered image of our country. Through my very popular column, I've had the opportunity of analyzing our major problems and challenges and our preferred solutions. If our leaders read me or listened to my interventions, maybe we would have landed ourselves in this mire. Journalism is my primary constituency. I do not see government-owned newspapers or television as a big deal. As a matter of fact, government-owned media companies should be urgently and transparently privatized, while government should only retain nominal shares in them. It is usually in dictatorships and authoritarian regimes where you would expect government to be involved in almost every business that they know they cannot run. With respect to the welfare of journalists, that is an area that touches me a great deal. However, it is not for government to intervene or wade into. The practitioners, both owners and employees, need to work together to create a better working relationship and environment. But I'm sure with increased activity and productivity, the media will enjoy better patronage, unlike now when business is very, very slow. From 1999 till date, successful administrations made a lot of promises to turn around the mortgage sector with little or nothing to show for it. I've been asked, what will I do differently? No citizen developed or truly developing nation today can survive without credit facilities. Lack of serious and credible mortgages, personal and car loans, and business grants have absolutely exposed Nigeria to massive fraud and corruption. I still find it difficult to understand how we can live the fact that many of our citizens who are all paid monthly are required to pay rents annually in advance. It is also inconceivable that any uncorrupted civil servant or employee can buy a house or car cash down, as is presently the case. Our governments at both the federal and state levels need to urgently look into this matter. At the federal level, we will certainly ensure that the relevant government ministries and agencies, including justice, finance, and the central bank, liaise and collaborate with the National Assembly to come up with new laws encouraging our financial institutions in all ramifications to create and activate a more robust credit system of very reasonable and sustainable terms and interests. That is only one leg, though. Property owners and car dealers and manufacturers must also key into this initiative and must be encouraged to do so through legislation as appropriate. People have also asked me about my view on consensus, zoning, and all that. I honestly do not think the consensus approach to the selection of candidates is democratic, particularly where it is not voluntary, but imposed or coerced, if at all. It should have happened before nomination forms were obtained at such exorbitant amounts. The selection of candidates to govern our entire country should not be the exclusive preserve of a few putative candidates or party grandees. There must be a fair representation in the decision-making process. That is usually done through an indirect process by party members, which is recognized the world over as being democratic without being unwieldy. How do I intend diversifying the revenue base of my political party beyond financing by its governors? Financing of a party by its governors is very corrupt and turns the leaders into demigods. It cannot be defended because it is not a legitimately recognized source of funding for any political party. It also makes it possible for the party to be hijacked by a group of people or even one man. I will encourage our party to go all out on encouraging a massive registration drive, including online registration and participation. This is a veritable treasure trove for party financing. Similarly, the party is expected to seek donations from businessmen up to the statutory approved limits to boost its covers. Party activities also serve as a means of doing this. There are several other ways. A party of the future will continuously undergo re-engineering, not just in relation to its policies and philosophy, but also as regards its funding. Should the 1999 Constitution be subjected to further amendments, or Nigeria should go for a brand new constitution as recently conversed by erudite lawyer, Chief Afe Babalola, SAN? No. Nigeria currently lacks the time and the required resources for a brand new constitution. In any event, it is unnecessary. The constitution that we now have provides for a federal system of government, which is the main grounds of many who complain about it. Therefore, the problem is the constitution itself, but with those charged with implementing it. No constitution will ever be perfect. We shall dust up and renew some of the brilliant, excellent work done in recent conferences that have not seen the light of day, to see what areas of the Constitution needs further amendments or tinkering with. We must always remember that the judiciary is also there to give purposive interpretation to constitutional provisions as the country and humanity evolves. That is why we need an independent, insulated, and robust judiciary, which is not financially or otherwise reliant on the executive or the legislature. A situation where the Chief Justice of the Federation or a state is casually and regularly summoned to state houses for functions and meetings should not exist and will be stopped at federal level at very best. Respect must beget respect. Let the judges face their duties. In truth, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, as the head of the third arm of government, should be well equipped and respected for Nigeria to move forward. One area of constitutional development that we must interrogate immediately is the opportunity for a second term for governors and presidents. This re-election syndrome has been one of the reasons for the failure of successful governments in Nigeria. After 2 years, most of our leaders become embroiled in politicking and other activities in preparation for a second term. Their attention wanes, and it is the nation that suffers. Given our history, population, and circumstances, I do not see why a single term of 5 to 6 years is not enough for anybody to formulate and implement policies for the betterment of Nigeria. The new person can then continue from there. How will I fight insurgency and terrorism if elected as president. Once we bring love back and treat every Nigerian with respect, we would have instantly laid a solid foundation for peace and unity. We will build on that foundation by doing the things that are necessary for the military, the police, and the teeming mass of restive unemployed youths dotting our national landscape. We shall invest heavily in education. For me, it is education, education, education. Training of our men and women of the armed forces, we shall adequately equip and safeguard them and give them pride to be involved in service to their fatherland, knowing that if they are injured or, God forbid, have to pay the ultimate price, they will do so with the assurance that they and their loved ones will be well taken care of. Apart from deploying all modern, sophisticated, and innovative measures in the battle against the insurgents and terrorists, we will activate a robust welfare and insurance package that will give them hope and comfort. There will be respectable, viable, and plentiful jobs for many of our graduates from every part of Nigeria. Gainfully employed people and those who have realistic prospects of employment do not have reason to engage in these kinds of dastardly activities. We educate them and the rest of the people and create mass awareness, which will be greatly helped by the wealth, comfort, and security that our government will engender. As part of our efforts to create jobs, our government will intensify vocational education and training in our institutions. Even when there are jobs, many of the hunters today are not employable. Intel or intelligence will become a major priority, and we shall take advantage of the advancement of technology. Similar to packages for our armed forces, our police and intelligence officers will enjoy special wages and incentives, including insurance, free medicals, and free education and regular trainings. I believe that war is always a last resort. Dialogue can achieve a lot more. Even after war, there is always discourse. Therefore, I am prepared, willing, and ready, if necessary, to meet with terrorist leaders on certain conditions if peace and security can be guaranteed. Now, humbly welcome your questions. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yes, ma'am. It's okay. That address is for you. Okay. I think the address is meant for the global audience. They are now listening to these programs, the reason why it's on. So, social media is interactive. You can always, reach people, Twitter, Facebook, and all other platforms. So, for the great men that are invited there, it's friends. So we now have an interaction, which is not common. So I want to join these three together so that we can form this.